My mother and I have always been very close. I'm an only child, and she was very protective of me. I would say she even smothered me, sort of. I was not allowed to go to school dances. I wasn't able to go to my prom. I wasn't able to go to sports games, and I believed that this was all to protect me from the outside world, and I found out that this was actually to protect her and her secret and her lie. A year ago, I found out that Reverend Eugene, my community leader at the church I go to, was actually my biological father. They kept this from me for over 20 years, my whole life, and they chose to spring this information on me at a time when I was just getting on my feet. This has been extremely distressing for me. I've needed a lot of therapy, and
get the tissue for the young lady.
That's what I am suing them for today.
Ms. Copeland, I am so sorry to hear that you are having to cope with this at your young age. How old are you, ma'am?
I'm 26.
Okay. So really just starting your adult path, and this is shocking and devastating. Let me come to you, ma'am, Ms. Copeland. Is it true that the gentleman you're standing beside today, the Reverend, did I understand that correctly, sir?
It's Dr. Reverend. Yes.
Dr. Reverend Eugene Waters is indeed your daughter's biological father?
Yes, this is true.
Okay. And who was she led to believe was her father up until this recent point, ma'am?
Larry.
Who, you say Larry?
Larry.
And was Larry your husband?
Larry is someone that I have spent time with and who has taken on responsibility to be her father.
And where is Larry today?
Larry is, unfortunately, he's at work today.
Okay. So, back to you, ma'am. You grew up thinking Larry was your father. And was he an active part of your life?
Yes, Your Honor. I believed this man was my biological father. He came to all of my events that I was allowed to go to as a small child. And he's always been there for me. He's always come and bring me birthday presents. He's always been somebody I could call. And I thought I could rely on him for the truth, too.
Wow, I am just absolutely shocked. You'll have to excuse just how shocked I am here. Let me ask you, Ms. Copeland, Madam Co-Defendant, why would you lie to your daughter like this, ma'am?
Well, it was never my intention to lie to my daughter. I love my daughter very much. I was very young when I became pregnant.
How old were you?
I was in my 20s, my early 20s.
Ma'am, that's not that young. I mean, it's young, but it's not 16. So let's try this again. Why would you lie to your daughter in this way?
Well, it's a little bit bigger than my age. It's actually, you know,
well, you started with the age, ma'am. So let's just kind of get to it, because I'll be honest with you, I don't have a lot of patience for deceiving innocent children, okay? I feel very strongly that every individual, I think it is a part of your human right and your dignity as a human being to know where you come from. I think every person in this world deserves that. So, do you know who your parents are?
I do.
So why did you think that your daughter deserved less?
Well, it's not that I thought she deserved less. It's just the small town that we live in, the family that I was raised in, and just the age that I became pregnant was really, really difficult for me. At the time, I was unfortunately dealing with two people at one time. I had met Larry, and we had started a relationship.
So you're in your early 20s?
Yes.
Okay, so you had a relationship with this gentleman named Larry. And who was the other relationship with? I presume this man.
Yes.
Okay, and were you married? What was the big scandal?
No, I was not married or anything like that.
No, were you married, Reverend Doctor?
I am and was married, yes.
So you were married to the same woman you're married to now?
That's correct.
Okay, so let's kind of get it all laid on the table today in this courtroom, ma'am. So you were willfully having this affair with a married man, but you were also dating another man.
I was.
So this woman is suing her mom for emotional distress because her mom finally admits to her that her dad is the church reverend. You cannot make this up. She said that her mom was super protective and wouldn't let her do anything. And I'm like, well, obviously, when your secret is the pastor from Sunday service is also daddy, you're gonna hover over her to make sure that none of that gets out. But what's really weird is that we see the pastor here, and I'm like, dude looks old enough to have baptized her and attended her graduation as the chaperone. This wasn't a love story. This was a sermon gone sideways. And he admits that he was married while having an affair with her. And I'm like, of course this is the case. And instead of dealing with it like adults, they hide it for decades and protect reputations. To protect who, might I add? Why are we always protecting the offender's image instead of the kid who deserves to know the truth? You don't get to lie for 25 years and then act shocked when your daughter needs therapy. You made your bed, you gotta sleep in it. And maybe, just maybe, tell her before she's filling out medical forms at 26, wondering why her blood type is confusing. This is so insane to me. I really do believe that she should win this case because these two right here, they're grimy and they've been basically living without any consequences, and they can't just now dump it on their 26-year-old daughter just because they wanted to protect their reputation when they were having mattress polo and they didn't want anyone to know about it. But what do you guys think?
You made a choice in your 20s, early 20s, to put the baby on this other man because what, he was single?
Well, it wasn't that. He was very supportive of me, and he actually wanted to be in her life. At the time that I found out I was pregnant, we actually didn't know who was the father. And
how did we find out who the father was?
Well, you know, through the town talk, a lot of people were mentioning that she looked and favored Reverend Eugene, and a lot of that talk was happening, and so it made me think a bit, as well as Larry. He didn't push a paternity test. He wanted to be her father and continue to be that figure in her life, but we did end up getting a test and finding out what the truth was.
And when did we find out the truth?
The truth, maybe in, when she was in elementary or at
So
that
you've
young
known
age.
this man for 20 plus years?
I have.
So you have known that every day you were looking your daughter, your baby girl, in the face, and you were telling her a lie about who she was and where she came from.
That is true.
That is true.
Yes.
How does that make you feel, Madam Plaintiff?
I feel betrayed.
Yeah, I can see the hurt in your eyes, and I would feel the same. But we are here in court today for a claim of $10,000. Where is this amount coming from, ma'am?
Yes, the $10,000, that is my request for support for therapy. I have already gone to therapy for the past 6 months, ever since I found this out a year ago.
That's when you found out, 6 months ago. And
I found out a year ago.
You found out a year. And how did you find out?
So I was actually on the way to go and discuss purchasing a new house when I got a call from Reverend Eugene, who we don't have a close relationship. He's the leader of my church that I've always gone to, and so I figured it was about something for youth group or some sort of leadership position. And
So what did Reverend Eugene want?
Well, he said that he wanted to get together for lunch. So I drove back home and met him at this little diner, and I was open. I said, what is it that you need? And he was being evasive. He was being cagey. He was saying, well, let's
And this was just
wait
the
a
two of
minute.
you?
It was just the two of us until my mother walked in the door.
Okay. So you were summoned basically to a sit down by the two of you to finally, after 20 years of withholding and lying the truth, tell her her real identity.
Yes.
So let's get you into this conversation, the good Reverend Doctor, because you're a grown man, you're an adult. Why did you agree to keep this lie from really your daughter?
It seemed at the time that it was maybe in her best interest and in mine. I'll just say that.
Thank
because
you
I
for
did
the
have-
honesty,
yes,
because
yes,
we
I
all
did
know
have a
that that's
family and I
really
had a wife, so
the
that
priority.
played into it.
And do
But
you
that-
have children with your wife, sir?
Yes, I do.
So
I
you
had
have
to. I
have a
had.
family.
Well, I had a family. Yeah, my daughter got cancer
Oh, I'm sorry.
and had a long illness, and she passed away.
Okay.
And my
Never knew it
son,
was
a
my
few
sister.
years.
So, right, but you know this young lady through the church, but you didn't know it was your sister. So you never even got to have a relationship with her. My God, this just goes from bad to worse, sir. Okay, so your daughter passed. That's very
Right.
tragic.
And I had a son, and a few years later, he was riding his motorcycle without a helmet, stupidly. Spent some time in the hospital, and he also passed away.
Oh, my goodness. So you've
Sorry.
lost all your other children.
Yes, I have.
And so
Well, maybe it was within her best interest that this guy did not father her. I mean, this dude had the most unlucky break for both of his kids to tragically pass away. I mean, maybe this was a blessing in disguise, that her protection was him being absent from her life. I mean, at first I was like, as a father, I could never in my right mind ever be like, yeah, I'm not going to have a relationship with my kid. If there was some kid out there, I would be like, I don't care. I want to know who this kid is and I want a relationship with this kid. And for him to be able to look this woman in the eyes and say in his mind, I know you're my daughter, but I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to have any relationship with you. That is so messed up on so many levels. But I have to say, guys, I want to know if you guys think the same thing as me, but if both of his kids and, all this tragedy happened, maybe it was just a blessing. Maybe the angel came and was like, we're going to remove her from you so that she survives the unlucky draw here. What do you guys think?
Miss Copeland here is
She's
your
my
last remaining
daughter.
child.
Yes, my last child.
Oh my gosh, this is just unbelievable. So at 26 years old, you're finding out for the first time, ma'am, that this indeed is your father. And how does it make you feel to know that they've known almost your entire life?
It makes me feel like my entire life has been based off of a lie. My mother always raised me to be honest and to tell the truth. That was something she instilled in me.
Sure.
And to find out that she lied to my face for all of these years, I'm disgusted, frankly. I don't know if our relationship can ever be the same again.
And what is your relationship with, is it Frank, the man that raised you?
Larry.
Larry, yes.
Our relationship is still good. He has moved away, but we still talk.
Okay.
It's been a little fractured since all of this has gone on, but he did assure me that this entire lie was all my mother's idea. He wanted to tell me the truth, and she would not let him.
This is really, 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 really tragic. Ma'am, do you have some receipts around the therapy that
Yes,
you're
Your Honor.
asking to be reimbursed for? Please give the
Yes.
whole folder, please, ma'am, to Elijah. Thank you.
Your Honor, there was a lot going on at that time. He was pursuing to become a reverend of the church. I didn't want to interfere with his reputation in the church, and
She didn't deserve it, ma'am. Look at her.
I agree with you, and I never meant to hurt my daughter. I love her very, very much.
And nobody's questioning the love you have for your daughter. I do believe that. But in your choices, and yours as well, Reverend Doctor, y'all have really impacted this young lady. And I have to tell you something. As a person myself who did not know my own paternal identity until I was 38 years old, it affects our self-worth. It affects how we feel in terms of being legitimate or illegitimate. And I can guarantee you your daughter is going to be processing all of this, your choices and yours, sir, for years to come.
So here's something that I just don't understand. If you are keeping this secret in the name of protecting the reputation of this reverend that, you look up to or whatever, because he was about to become ordained or whatever it is and start becoming a leader, in my opinion, you do not want this dude leading you. You know what I'm saying? I just don't quite get it. If I knew that there was someone who was going to be ordained to lead and pastor a community of people, the last thing I would want, especially if I believed in the faith, I would not want this dude to be in leadership because he clearly has been compromised. So it just doesn't make sense that you would sit there and protect this guy's reputation, meanwhile allow your daughter to suffer through just this unknowing betrayal and then lay it on her all at once. And it's just like, yo, what the heck? I mean, yeah, sure, you want to come clean, at least you're coming clean. But at some point, you kind of have to realize that there's a time and place, and there's also a method in the way that you can reveal the truth rather than just laying it on her thick and then not doing anything about it to help her. So in my opinion, I find it strange that you protect the reputation of someone who's going to be leading your community when in fact they're a spiritual leader and you don't want that to happen. And I also find it strange that this dude lost both of his kids and thought, once I lost both of them, now is the time for me to take her in as a daughter. Dude, you should have done that beforehand.
You were saying to me, ma'am, that you were about to buy a house when all of this happened. Did you end up being able to buy that house?
No, I ended up losing my job.
Oh.
I couldn't deal with all of this. I needed some time to just sit, but it was a new job. I had just started only a month in, and
so this unpinned your whole world.
everything.
Yeah. So I'm looking at therapy bills. Looks like you're having very intensive sessions.
Yes.
120 minutes at a time, 60 minutes at a time. I'm seeing months and months. This is 6 months worth of bills I'm looking at that accumulate to $10,000. Now let's get back to you, Ms. Copeland, and you too, Dr. Reverend. Y'all are equal co-defendants in the eyes of the court today. Your daughter is requesting that you make her financially whole from the financial investment she has made in her own healing to recover from the emotional damage you two caused. What do you have to say in defense of your claim that you owe her $10,000?
Well, again, I understand her hurt and her pain, and I've offered her different solutions. You know, Sister Margaret at the church.
Who is Sister Margaret?
She is a therapist in the church.
At the same church that y'all chose to lie and deceive about this man's leadership and moral character?
Yes.
That same church?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's the church you want your daughter in this fragile condition to be availed to? I don't think so. What else did you offer?
Well, there were other resources as well, like the community center. There's a local nonprofit.
I have a resource. I have a therapist.
Yeah, but that therapist is extremely expensive.
Okay,
Penny.
Ms. Copeland, I'm not even gonna let you continue this. You don't get to choose the way you traumatize her and then be picky about the way in which she chooses to seek recovery. You're just not in the moral position to make such a request. And as for you, Dr. Reverend, what do you have to say for yourself?
We felt like in the situation it was better to deal with it within our faith community, within our church and people
Okay.
that
You know what I hear you saying
support
is,
her.
you know what I hear you saying is that you thought it would be best to continue containing the secrets and the lies, again, for your own interest. Well, this court feels differently. This court feels that what you two have individually and collectively chosen to do by virtue of keeping her identity a secret for 20 plus years was self-serving and devastating to your daughter. This is your daughter too, sir. She's literally as much your daughter as she is Miss Copeland's daughter.
I know that.
How do you feel about that?
I love her. She's a beautiful young woman, and I'm sorry that what we've done.
Do you
has
even
hurt
know
but-
her? Do you really know her, or are you, she's nodding her head? You're gonna have to now, and it's only, I really think, the grace of God that you have an opportunity, as you are still among us, to have the privilege to get to know your own daughter in a real way.
Well, she was still attending church.
Sir, come on, knock it off.
Your Honor, if I may speak, he hasn't contacted me at all since
Since
this happened.
this?
No.
Do you plan to procure a relationship with your daughter, sir?
If that's available to me, I would.
I want us to be a family.
Okay. This sounds like it's going from bad to worse. So let's just kind of stop the emotional bleeding, Ms. Copeland. The court has heard enough to make a ruling. I think that you, sir, made very selfish, poor decisions that will cost you today in court, but it will never come close to what is ultimately costing your daughter, y'all's daughter. I am very glad, young lady, that you have a person you can rely on, and Mr. Larry, it sounds like, that he's still going to be in your life. That is the very least you deserve out of all of this tragedy and trauma. And the court applauds you, young lady, in doing what you need to do for you, for doing the work to heal and slowly process all that you need to put yourself back in a good position emotionally and spiritually, and sounds like financially.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
So you have made a sound investment, in the court's opinion, to a therapist of your choosing that you find safe and credible, which is the priority, Ms. Copeland and Dr. Reverend, not your comforts. Therefore, the court rules in complete favor of the plaintiff for the full demand of $10,000 to help support your work as you recover from very severe emotional distress caused at the hands of you two. That is the court's ruling.
All rise.
Judge Ebony has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The co-defendants are ordered to pay $10,000.
I do love you guys. I think with just a bit more healing, I can have that relationship with you, but I just need to get better from this. I just hope you understand.
I want us to be a family, honey. I need to talk to you. You haven't been speaking to me lately. I would love for us to try to resolve this.
Okay, you've had your day in court. Please follow me.
Well, the plaintiff wins the case, and I definitely agree. I don't think that they should get away with what they did to her. And $10,000 is a lot of money. And so I'm definitely glad that she's going to get the money and win this case against the betrayal that was committed against her. But I want to know what you guys think about this, because sometimes we as human beings make mistakes. But do you think that there's hope for these people to have reconciliation and her to have a relationship with her, not only pastor of her church, but also the father of, like, her father? Like, does anyone else think that maybe the betrayal is so high that it's like, yeah, you could be my biological father, but that doesn't mean that I want to be in relationship with you or know you or have any sort of contact with you. So what would you guys do in this situation? I'm curious what your thoughts are. So let me know in the comments down below.